Once upon a time, in a quaint suburban neighborhood, stood a house that harbored a sinister secret. It was a chilly winter evening when the Johnson family departed for their holiday vacation, leaving their 12-year-old son, Jack, alone at home. Jack was thrilled at the prospect of having the house to himself for a week, but little did he know that he was about to experience a terror beyond his wildest nightmares. As darkness enveloped the neighborhood, Jack settled into the cozy living room, indulging in his favorite horror movie marathon. The eerie glow of the television cast long shadows across the room, heightening the atmosphere of solitude. Suddenly, a power outage plunged the house into darkness, sending shivers down Jack's spine. Heart pounding, Jack fumbled for his phone, using its dim light to navigate through the pitch-black house. As he made his way to the basement to check the circuit breaker, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. With trembling hands, he reached for the breaker box, only to find it strangely open. Before he could react, a bone-chilling whisper echoed through the darkness, "Alone at last." Jack's blood ran cold as he bolted up the stairs, the sensation of icy fingers trailing down his spine. Slamming the basement door shut, he barricaded himself in the living room, his mind racing with fear. Hours passed, but the oppressive silence was broken only by the occasional creaks and groans of the old house. Jack's nerves were on edge as he peered into the darkness, every shadow morphing into a potential threat. Just when he thought he couldn't take it anymore, a soft scratching sound emanated from the attic above. Summoning his courage, Jack armed himself with a flashlight and ascended the creaky stairs to investigate. The attic was a maze of forgotten belongings and cobwebs, with long-forgotten memories lurking in every corner. As Jack cautiously made his way through the darkness, he stumbled upon an old wooden chest tucked away in the corner. With trembling hands, he pried open the lid, revealing a collection of dusty photographs and mementos. But amidst the relics of the past, something far more sinister lurked. A tattered journal lay hidden at the bottom of the chest, its pages filled with the ramblings of a disturbed mind. As Jack pored over the journal, he uncovered the horrifying truth about the house's dark history. Decades ago, it was the site of unspeakable atrocities committed by a deranged serial killer who preyed on unsuspecting victims. Legend had it that his tormented spirit still haunted the halls, seeking vengeance on anyone who dared to trespass upon his domain. Suddenly, a cold gust of wind swept through the attic, extinguishing Jack's flashlight and plunging him into total darkness. Panic set in as he frantically searched for an escape route, his heart pounding in his chest. But the malevolent presence lurking in the shadows had other plans. With a blood-curdling scream, Jack felt a pair of icy hands close around his throat, squeezing the life out of him. Desperately gasping for air, he struggled to break free from the grasp of the vengeful spirit. Just when all hope seemed lost, a blinding light pierced through the darkness, banishing the malevolent entity back into the depths of the abyss. Gasping for breath, Jack found himself lying on the attic floor, the journal clutched tightly in his hand. With trembling fingers, he flipped to the final page, where a chilling message was scrawled in blood-red ink: "You're never truly alone in this house." Terrified beyond words, Jack fled from the attic, vowing never to return to the accursed place again. As he raced into the safety of the night, he couldn't shake the feeling that the sinister presence still lingered, waiting patiently for its next victim to cross its path. And so the house remained shrouded in darkness, its secrets buried deep within its walls, waiting for another unsuspecting soul to uncover its horrifying truth. In a remote cabin nestled deep within the woods, 16-year-old Sarah found herself alone for the weekend while her parents attended a conference in the city. Excited for a few days of solitude, she settled in for a cozy night by the fireplace, unaware of the horrors lurking in the shadows. As the night wore on, strange noises echoed through the cabin, sending chills down Sarah's spine. Brushing it off as her imagination, she tried to focus on her book, but an eerie feeling of being watched persisted. Suddenly the power went out, plunging the cabin into darkness. Heart pounding, Sarah reached for her phone, using its feeble light to navigate the unfamiliar surroundings. But as she moved through the shadows, she couldn't shake the feeling of someone, or something, lurking just beyond her sight. Determined to find the source of the disturbance, Sarah ventured into the basement, where the noise seemed to be coming from. With each step, the darkness seemed to grow thicker, suffocating her senses. And then she saw a pair of glowing eyes staring back at her from the darkness. Frozen in terror, Sarah watched as a sinister figure emerged from the shadows, its twisted form contorted with malice. With a guttural growl, it lunged towards her, its razor-sharp claws poised to strike. With adrenaline coursing through her veins, Sarah bolted up the stairs, desperate to escape the clutches of the malevolent entity. But no matter where she turned, it seemed to be one step ahead, its haunting laughter echoing through the empty halls. Frantically searching for a way out, Sarah stumbled upon a hidden passage concealed behind a bookshelf. With no other options left, she plunged into the darkness, hoping it would lead her to safety. But as she navigated the labyrinthine tunnels, she realized she had only fallen deeper into the creature's twisted lair. With each passing moment, Sarah's strength waned, her resolve crumbling in the face of unimaginable horror. But just when all hope seemed lost, a glimmer of light pierced through the darkness, illuminating a way out of the labyrinth. Summoning every ounce of courage she had left, Sarah raced towards the light, breaking free from the creature's grasp at last. As she emerged from the depths of the labyrinth, she found herself back in the safety of the cabin, the first rays of dawn painting the sky with hues of pink and gold. Breathless and shaken, Sarah vowed never to return to the cabin again, haunted by the memory of the horrors she had encountered in the night. And as she watched the sun rise above the treetops, she couldn't shake the feeling that the darkness still lingered, waiting patiently for its next victim to cross its path. In the quiet town of Willow Creek, 14-year-old Emily found herself alone for the weekend, while her parents traveled to visit relatives out of state. Excited for a taste of independence, she settled in for a relaxing night of binge-watching her favorite TV shows. Little did she know, the night would soon take a terrifying turn. As the hours passed, Emily's attention was drawn to a peculiar scratching sound coming from the attic above. At first, she dismissed it as the harmless antics of a curious raccoon, but as the noise grew louder and more persistent, a sense of unease crept over her. Determined to investigate, Emily ventured into the dimly lit hallway, her heart pounding with apprehension. With each step she took towards the attic door, the scratching grew more frenzied, as if whatever was up there was desperate to break free. Summoning her courage, Emily climbed the creaky staircase leading to the attic, her flashlight casting long shadows against the walls. But as she reached for the door handle, a sudden gust of wind slammed it shut with a deafening bang, trapping her in darkness. Panic rising in her chest, Emily fumbled for her flashlight, her hands trembling with fear. With a shaky breath, she slowly pushed open the attic door, the musty smell of decay assaulting her senses. What she saw next would haunt her nightmares for years to come. Standing in the center of the attic was a figure cloaked in shadows, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly intensity. Frozen in terror, Emily watched as the figure began to move towards her, its movements jerky and unnatural. With a strangled cry, Emily turned to flee, but it was too late. The creature lunged at her with lightning speed, its bony fingers wrapping around her throat in a vice-like grip. Gasping for air, Emily struggled to break free, her vision swimming with spots of darkness. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, a blinding light filled the attic, banishing the creature back into the depths of the shadows. Gasping for breath, Emily collapsed to the floor, her heart racing with adrenaline. As she lay there, shaken but alive, Emily realized that she was not alone in the house. There was something lurking in the darkness, something ancient and malevolent, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. With trembling hands, Emily stumbled out of the attic and fled from the house, vowing never to return. But as she glanced back at the darkened windows, she couldn't shake the feeling that the creature was still watching, biding its time until it could claim its next victim.